Hello, everyone. My guest today is Scott Rogerson. He spun out a B2B SaaS technology company, UpContent, from a content marketing as a service company. Scott's focus at UpContent centers on the formation of lasting relationships with customers and partners. He is lead scout, helping to find team priorities to best serve the current and future needs of their customers. All right, Scott, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. This is great.
Okay, so I want to talk about the spin out first, but I want to understand your current role. So you're not CEO. Walk me through what your role is today.
I am CEO, founder as well.
Okay.
So it's what CEO means at a company in our stage is a lot. And
I was going to say, so lead scout, what does that mean?
Lead scout is we're discovering the best fit for UpContent in terms of customers, partners, both agency wise and technology wise. And we kind of fill a very critical role, but a small role in the overall marketing journey.
Okay. And so you spun the company out in what year?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay, so call it early 2017. And why do the spin out?
We kind of felt that we were growing in two different directions, right? We had a services company that was doing well, cash flow positive, continuing to grow. We liked what that model was looking like. We created UpContent to solve an internal problem for us originally, and then started to see more traction, more people interested in using it, and actually, to be frank, a larger problem that needed to be solved. And that could only be solved by focusing full attention on it. And that's when we decided to spin out.
So tell us what the company does and how you make money.
Yeah, so UpContent focuses on building trust and deepening relationships between individuals and their audiences, whether that's an internal audience of employees, external audiences, current customers, prospective customers. And we do that by helping you not talk about yourself, but show the insight that you have in a certain industry. So content curation, that is a process that people do often manually. Either it's siloed across organizations, so they're spending on average 10, 11 hours a week per person, finding, reading, and then hopefully doing something with those articles. And we found that there were three main problems there. Finding the articles, we have our own crawler that goes out and finds that information. On average, finding about 40% more using the same criteria than your leading search engine. Because we're looking at blog articles, industry trade publications as well, not just the macro publishers. We then help those individuals collaborate inside of the tool, leave notes for each other, process through workflows, identify, hey, this article is great for email, this one's great for our website, and then distribute. And that's where a lot of the scouting that you mentioned comes in. We finding those technology partners, whether it be Hootsuite or Buffer or
So
Wix.
Scott, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to be clear. So if I'm a company, I make this up like Pepsi or something.
Yeah.
I might use you. I'm confused. So I would use you to curate things about Pepsi related to Pepsi or ingredients. And then if I want to send out like a blog post that someone else wrote, a third party about Pepsi ingredients, I could email that to my list.
Yeah, that's certainly a piece of it. It's less of the brand listening side often that we see our customers use and more around the themes and the areas that they want to be seen as knowledgeable in. So what are the things that Pepsi's a more difficult one. It's more B2C. User-generated content tends to be more powerful there. We focus mostly on the B2B side, particularly professional services organizations who have deep expertise in certain areas.
Accountants, lawyers, taxes.
Exactly. Those are beautiful areas for us. Healthcare, education, where I don't need to just understand, you have classrooms and you have professors, but what are you all about? When I need to know what you're all about, the best way for me to start learning that is not by reading your own content, but reading what you're reading. And that helps me understand your perspective. And then I will move into reading your original content.
And it's pure play SaaS company, right?
Correct.
What's the average customer paying per month?
So it's a huge range, as you would expect. We've got annual contract values of $2,500 up to $15,000 a year, depending on what you're using, how often you're using it, how big your team is, and how many connections you're setting it up.
Yeah. Just to save us time though, from going on every cohort though. I mean, what would you say an average is? $3,000 a year, $5,000 a year?
Yeah, probably in that range for sure. I'd say $3,500 a year and growing in terms of the larger customers that we're starting to bring on.
You're moving upstream.
Correct.
All right. And where are you at today in terms of total customers?
So we've got about 250 paying customers. It's a freemium model as well. We still are learning a lot and collecting a lot of data off of those customers. So monthly active users is a couple thousand. Again, we've only been out into the market for a little over a year now.
Yeah, that's great. Look, 250 folks at that price point you just told me of $3,500 per year. I mean, I think that puts you at like $70,000 a month or about $870,000 a year in terms of run rate. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's certainly where we're going. I wouldn't say we're there now. When we first launched, we were starting at much lower customers to understand what our fit was. So we do still have a number of $10 or $15 a month customers. And looking at that 3,500, those were annual contract values as well.
Okay, fair enough. So what was last month's monthly recurring revenue if it's not 70?
Right around 9K or so.
Okay.
Across the board.
Okay, got it. So that average you gave me earlier was very. I mean, that's like where you're going is 3,500.
Correct. That's average of, if you look at the contracts we've been bringing on in the last 30 days or so, that's the average contract value that we're bringing on.
Yeah.
We have a fairly low churn rate, as you would expect.
How low?
Using it. Sub 1% a month in terms of churn.
And that's logo churn or revenue churn per month?
That's revenue churn.
Okay. And net or gross?
That's gross.
Gross. Okay, great. And then, so look, $9,000 a month, 250 customers. That puts it at about each customer paying about $36 a month right now. Sub 1% revenue churn per month. Walk me through growth rate. So a year ago when you spun it out, did it have any revenue?
No, it was an internal tool. So we had to spend the first, I'd say 8 months at least, translating it from an internal tool with hotkeys and us figuring out how to use the crawler into something that was commercially viable to the end user. And we've been spending another 6 months making it viable to the larger team and the enterprise user.
Have you raised capital or bootstrapped?
We're in the process of our first raise right now. Hopefully, when audiences hear this podcast, we'll be past that point and growing the team.
How much are you raising?
A little under $1 million.
Okay, and how'd you come up with a number?
So it's looking at kind of what we need to get ourselves to focus on the long term. And long term for us right now is 12 months of focus without having to worry about monthly revenue growth, and looking at some of the larger opportunities that we have through our partners and really activating and supporting them in selling our product. That's where scale is going to come from for UpContent.
Okay, and what I mean, is it a convertible note you're doing or equity?
It's equity.
It is equity. Okay, so what valuation are you targeting?
2.5 pre-money is the goal.
Okay.
For that.
Look, I mean, right now it's tricky because you have such little revenue. You're really still selling a vision, not a revenue multiple.
That's absolutely right. It's all about team and grit and where we're going. We do have some great partners who have given us that nod of, we're going to sell your product on your behalf. That obviously has not happened yet, right?
Yep.
But that is what the funding is being used for.
What's the team size today?
Right now it's 2. So it's myself and a full stack developer who's focusing on that aspect. So, having a few more hands wouldn't hurt as well.
You have 100% equity?
No, I do not have 100%. We have another team member, and we did spin out. So we have some individuals who are equity holders from the managed services company who are also equity holders in UpContent, as they help to incubate the idea with us. And that's deserving.
You have more than 50%?
Right around there.
Right around. Okay. But are you in control? You're driving?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that I'm driving. Maybe it's not necessarily objectively. If you look at the numbers of Scott can just make whatever decision he wants and cram it down people's throats, which wouldn't be the goal anyway. But I think there's faith and comfort from the other equity holders, given what we did on the services side, that we know where we're going with
this.
And
what's your CAC today? What are you paying to acquire customers?
It's fairly low, almost non-existent. A couple dollars, I would say, maybe $1.50 per customer on the lower end. On the upper end, if you include time, I'd say we're still under $50 to $100 to do that.
And when you are spending actual besides your time, where are you spending that money?
Most of it's more of your standard inbound content marketing. We have dabbled. We have an integration with Wix, and we're doing some digital advertising for that, as that's an easier market for us to target. We're still learning, right, at this stage of who our best customer is, where we want to target. A lot of experimentation is going on. And now we have, hopefully with this new capital, the machine put in place to really start scaling from here. We've learned a lot over the last year.
And where are you guys based?
We're all in Pittsburgh, good old Pittsburgh. So you have to come out sometime. It's a great spot, great talent, great place to grow a business.
I've heard great things about it. We'll have to make that happen. Very good. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz.
It's a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying, Scott?
Joel from Buffer is one of my favorites. He just came out with a great blog post recently. They've been the most transparent, and seeing them move up and down has been great to see.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Oh, that's a good one. We are Intercom users, tried and true. We've enjoyed utilizing that to help on the customer support side. I believe customer experience and customer service is the PR and marketing for us, and we can start to grow with that foundation.
How many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
How many hours of sleep?
Yeah.
We have 2 little ones as well. So I'm gonna try 6 to 7 is the goal. Goals are rarely met consistently. So I'd say, we're trying to get around that point. My average is probably at 6.
6. Okay, good. And 2 kiddos, and you keep saying we, so I assume you're married?
Yes.
Okay, married, 2 kids, and how old are you?
33.
33. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What entrepreneurship really meant. It was never necessarily the vision and had the strategic plan to do that. It's been a lot of fun. And I think understanding that when you have a will, there's a way to get things done is something that you don't necessarily learn when you're 20.
Guys, there you have it from Scott, part of an agency for many years. Then in 2017, spun out UpContent. Just now recently turning on revenue, have about 250 customers paying $36 a month. So doing about $9,000 per month in revenue. Churn is healthy, sub 1% revenue churn per month. That's on a gross basis. Spending anywhere between call it $50 and $100 in terms of fully diluted CAC. That includes his time with his team of 2 people based in Pittsburgh, getting about a 3-month payback period there again on that CAC. Currently raising about $1 million at a $2.5 million pre-money valuation. Scott, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much. Great conversation. Appreciate it.